go. Welcome, everyone. Good morning. This is Tech for Senior. It's March the 11th. It is, thank you for coming, and we do appreciate you being here. Most of you probably watched the Academy Awards last night, and Huey, I tell you that Oppenheimer won and most of the awards. And last night I had a dream, Huey. I was dreaming that they opened a new category for a senior for technology shows on YouTube, and that you and I won, and we were walking down the red carpet. And then I woke up and I realized it was all just a dream. So I guess I thought I was pretty excited. So anyway, but maybe sometime in the future they'll have a category for the show, eh? But I wanted just to tell everyone that we will be producing Academy Award-winning shows this coming year, right? In season 5, which is coming up pretty soon.
Every show that we do is an Academy Award quality show.
Very good. Very good, Huey. Very good. Yes, indeed. So, anyway. Applauding. They're very good. Thanks so much. Anyway, that's great. So we are, of course, here today for our show. We'll go over that in just a minute. We're going to start the show early today because we have a really big show. So I want to briefly go on and talk about a couple of things. First of all, I want to thank for our donations. We're still keeping our donations page along, and we had a donation last week by Glenn Singer. Thanks so much, Glenn, for your donation. That was much appreciated. Our premiere video, of course, I slipped up a bit and published it 2 days ago. Darn it all. Anyway, I guess age is catching up with me. So it is published. The 3 items that are in the video is, of course, Bill's talking about Windows tips. Mike and I are giving a talk about our EV cars, which, of course, we've changed since then. But it is a good talk. It's just a frank sit down and talk about our experiences, and that was there. And Bob talked about wireless technology with your computer. So it's a really good show, and I'll put the link in I'll put the link in the chat for everybody. But it is published now and on the show. So that's that. And this Thursday will be, don't forget, we have our show this Thursday. And if you want to know how to find out how to get to the show, in our newsletter at the top, you will see that I've put a link to that video I made on how to find our show. It's there in our newsletter. And speaking of our newsletter, if you haven't subscribed, we want to thank our sponsors, the Glendora Seniors Computer Club. We're going to talk, and the course Geeks on Tour, and the Huey, your club, the Southern
CFCS,
Center
Florida Computers.
CFCS is Seniors Moment. CFCS, thanks again for our sponsors to our newsletter. We also I see in the notes, I have a lot of fun with it on Saturdays. I put my favorite YouTube channel in there, and I was watching, there was a channel, and all as they do in Los Angeles is they watch airplanes taking off and landing and comment on it. And I thought that was really interesting. And it keeps going and going. But not only are there channels that do Los Angeles, but they do all the airports around big airports around the United States. So if you want to sit and watch planes taking off and land, there's lots of channels that do that. So I have a lot of fun with that. So if you want to watch, I put very interesting links in our Saturday newsletter on my favorite channels of the week. This Thursday, we're going to talk about, on our Thursday show, we're going to talk about TikTok and what Congress is going to do about that. And then we're also going to talk about Grok, G-R-O-K. What is that, and why will that be affecting your life? We'll be talking about that this Thursday. Now, last week, on the last week's show, we had a very interesting talk at the end on, do you need a landline? And it was really a great discussion. A lot of people had great ideas. So I thought, and I've talked with everybody about this, and probably next month we're going to be doing a whole show on, do you need a landline? What is a landline? What are your options? and particularly 911 calling and so on and so forth. So we're going to do that as a separate show, probably in about 3 or 4 weeks. We're going to get that organized. So that's coming up in the future, and we'll all be participating in that. So if anyone has any thoughts on that, please get a hold of me and we'll work that in. I think that's about it today. We want to get the show going. Huey, do you have any comments? How did your WinSig go yesterday?
It went very well. By the way, remove your spotlight.
Oh, right. Yep. Take that off.
It went very well. We had a good crowd, a lot of good questions, and I only rebooted once. I'm still having issues with my computer, and I've swapped out a whole bunch of pieces of equipment, and it still hasn't solved it. But I'm getting there.
All right. Well, we'll be hearing from Bob and Ray and everybody. We'll be hearing from everybody later. I want to start the show now because we have a really big show. Bob, can you take it away now?
Sure, I can. Here is my security news roundup for the week ending March 8th, 2024. U.S. court orders NSO Group to hand over Pegasus spyware code to WhatsApp. A U.S. judge has ordered NSO Group to hand over its source code for Pegasus and other remote access Trojans to Meta as part of the social media giant's ongoing litigation against the Israeli spyware vendor. The decision marks a major legal victory for Meta, which filed the lawsuit in October of 2019 for using its infrastructure to distribute the spyware to approximately 1,400 mobile devices between April and May. This also includes 24 Indian activists and journalists. These attacks leveraged a then zero-day flaw in the instant messaging app, a critical buffer overflow bug in the voice call functionality, to deliver Pegasus by merely placing a call, even in scenarios where the calls were left unanswered. Read more at thehackernews.com. AI worm infects users via AI-enabled email clients. A group of researchers created a first-generation AI worm that can steal data, spread malware, spam others via an email client, and spread through multiple systems. This worm was developed and successfully functions in test environments using popular LLMs. The team shared research papers and published a video showing how they used two methods to steal data and affect other email clients. The worm uses adversarial self-replicating prompts. The researchers say this approach could allow bad actors to mine confidential information, including but not limited to credit card details and social security numbers. Read more at tomshardware.com. Apple hit with more than 1.95 billion EU antitrust fine over music streaming. The European Commission, the European Union's executive arm, on Monday hit Apple with a 1.8 billion euro antitrust fine for abusing its dominant position in the market for the distribution of music streaming apps. The Commission said it found that Apple had applied restrictions on app developers that prevented them from informing iOS users about alternative and cheaper music subscription services available outside of the app. Apple also banned developers of music streaming apps from providing any instructions about how users should subscribe to those cheaper offers, the Commission alleged. Read more at cnbc.com. Urgent: Apple issues critical updates for actively exploited zero-day flaws. Apple has released security updates to address several security flaws, including 2 vulnerabilities that it said have been actively exploited in the wild. CVE 2024-23225, a memory corruption issue in kernel that an attacker with arbitrary kernel read and write capability can exploit to bypass kernel memory protections. CVE 2024-23-296, a memory corruption issue in the RT-Kit real-time operating system that an attacker with arbitrary kernel read and write capability can exploit to bypass kernel memory protections. It's currently not clear how the flaws are being weaponized in the wild. Apple said both the vulnerabilities were addressed with improved validation in iOS 17.4, iPadOS 17.4, iOS 16.7.6, and iPadOS 16.7.6. Read more at thehackernews.com. Ex-Google engineer arrested for stealing AI technology secrets for China. The U.S. Department of Justice announced the indictment of a 38-year-old Chinese national and a California resident for allegedly stealing proprietary information from Google while covertly working for two China-based tech companies. Lin Wei-Ding, a former Google engineer who was arrested on March 6, 2024, transferred sensitive Google trade secrets and other confidential information from Google's network to his personal account while secretly affiliating himself with PRC-based companies in the AI industry, the DOJ said. Read more at thehackernews.com. Large online dictionary leaks nearly 7 million records. ℏ𝕬𝕝, the biggest online dictionary, left a server exposed to the public, revealing personal data, encrypted passwords, social media identifiers, and other details of nearly 7 million users. Businesses employ Mongo database to organize and store large swaths of document-oriented information. Mongo database server misconfigurations sometimes leave instances accessible to the public, revealing vast amounts of sensitive data. The team discovered the open database in late December 2023 and contacted ℏ𝕬𝕝. While the organization did not reply to the team, the open instance was closed. ℏ𝕬𝕝 is a multilingual dictionary that claims to cover all languages. The service, much like Wikipedia, is developed by the members of its community. Read more at cybernews.com. CISA warns of actively exploited JetBrains Team City vulnerability. The U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency on Thursday added a critical security flaw impacting JetBrains Team City on-premises software to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog, based on evidence of active exploitation. The vulnerability, tracked as CVE 2024-27198 with a CVSS score of 9.8, refers to an authentication bypass bug that allows for a complete compromise of a susceptible server by a remote unauthenticated attacker. In light of active exploitation, users running on-premises versions of the software are advised to apply the updates as soon as possible to mitigate potential threats. Federal agencies are required to patch their instances by March 28, 2024. Read more at thehackernews.com. This is National Consumer Protection Week. Stay informed. Keep up to date with the latest consumer rights information to protect yourself from fraud and scams. Report scams. If you encounter a scam, report it immediately to help prevent others from falling victim. Secure your identity. Be vigilant about your personal information to prevent identity theft. Shop smart. When purchasing, especially used cars or online, research thoroughly to avoid hidden fees and scams. Know your rights. Understand your rights as a tenant, consumer, and in healthcare to make informed decisions. Learn more at the Federal Trade Commission website. Just follow the link listed. This week's must-see on my YouTube channel. TikTok, the newsroom of today. In the fast-paced world of social media, a little fact-checking goes a long way, and TikTok isn't where you should get your news. Please watch my video on that topic by following the link listed. Did you know? Google it. Alphabet's search term was originally called back rub. Bots are estimated to make up 37.9% of all internet traffic. The financial sector is the main target for bot activity, followed by education, government, and gambling. The number assigned to pencils refers to the hardness of the graphite in the pencil. The lower the number, the softer the lead. Just thought you might want to know. Everything is habit forming, so make sure what you do is what you want to be doing. Thanks to Wilt Chamberlain. And that's a wrap for this week's Security News Roundup. Stay safe, stay secure, and I'll see you again next week. Bye-bye, and thanks for watching and listening.
We want to thank Drew for doing this. He created a video. I think you'll find it very interesting, and I'm going to be playing that now for you. There will probably be lots of questions about it, and we'll deal with those in the Q&A. Let me just share my screen. Pair drop, transferring files between devices. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior, where we help seniors understand technology and help them transfer files between devices. We really appreciate participation from our audience, and today Drew King has stepped up and created a video on how to use pair drop. Please enjoy his video, and thanks for watching Tech for Senior.
This is a quick introduction to a service available on the internet for free called PairDrop. And they say it is the easiest way to transfer files across devices. And I happen to agree that it's very simple, and the devices don't have to be in the same room, on the same Wi-Fi, or even the same kind of device. If you meet somebody that takes a picture of you with their camera, and they have an iPhone and you have an Android phone, you can both go to pairdrop.net on your phones, and your system will look like this. And there's, I am known as Surface 7, and I have this got chopped off a little bit. This first one says, on this network. That means other devices that are at pairdrop.net on my local Wi-Fi. By paired devices. You can be discovered by paired devices at all times, independent of the network. And then there's this one. You can be discovered by any device in the public room, independent of the network. And this network is called NIXVS. If I click over here, it says temporary public room, and this is the room number. So I open the temporary room, and you open this window as well, and then either I will type in your code or you'll type in my code, and we'll join into the same room. And as long as you're in the room together, you will see each other. I'm going to launch the Pair VPN app on my phone and PairDrop on my app on my cell phone, and you'll see that the Surface 7 and now out here is the S21 Android device. And I can click to send files or right click to send a message. And if I click to once, it opens up a file browser, and then I can click a file and say open, and it will pop a box up on my cell phone, and I'll say accept, and now you'll see the file is being transferred to my cell phone. And that's all there is to it. That's the entire application and how you would use it. So if you encounter somebody that needs to move a file from one cell phone to another cell phone, or maybe you're at the library and you want to transfer a file that you created on the public computer and copy it to your cell phone, you can do that. There's all kinds of uses for it. If you have somebody that you need to send some sensitive documents to and you'd rather not put them in email, this is a way to send those personal documents to somebody directly from computer to computer. And
All right. Thanks, Drew. Interesting software. So we'll talk more about that in the Q&A. Bob, do you want to take it away?
The rise of TikTok as a news source. In the digital age, news comes at us fast and from all directions. But can we trust the news from every source? Let's talk about TikTok, the app that's got everyone from teens to grandparents dancing and lip syncing. But TikTok is not all fun and games. TikTok has become a hub for news. You heard that right, news. Instant news, instant headaches. TikTok's algorithm is designed to show you what you want before you even know you want it. That includes news. But with great power comes great responsibility. The question is, are TikTokers ready to be news reporters? The platform's ease of use means anyone can post anything at any time, which is both amazing and terrifying. Challenge of misinformation. Now, before you start citing TikTok at your next trivia night, there's a catch. TikTok is like that one friend who always has the latest gossip, but doesn't always get the story straight. In 2020, TikTok had to clean house, removing hundreds of thousands of videos spreading false information about U.S. elections and COVID-19. Oops! Game of whispers. Think of misinformation on TikTok like a game of telephone. One person posts a story, and by the time it's been shared and reshared, the facts might have taken a backseat to a more exciting narrative. Just like in the game, the original message often gets lost in translation. Who's reporting the news? Here's where it gets interesting. Most of TikTok's news isn't coming from seasoned journalists with notepads and press badges, from influencers, activists, and well, pretty much anyone with a phone. That's like getting your daily news from your neighbor's well-informed parrot. Influencer effect. Influencers have the power to reach millions with just a tap on the screen. But when they start sharing news, their influence can be a double-edged sword. Without proper fact-checking, their posts might spread misinformation faster than you can say viral. The stats don't lie. Studies show that almost 20% of news-related searches on TikTok were playing a game of telephone with the facts. A lot of room for error when you're trying to stay informed. Numbers and nuance. While 20% might not seem like a huge number, it's significant when you consider the millions of users on TikTok. With the app's global reach, that's a whole lot of potential for misinformation to spread worldwide. Navigating the TikTok news maze. So what's a TikTok scroller to do? First, don't panic. Remember to double-check those flashy headlines with reliable sources. TikTok for some is the starting point, but it should never be the finish line for fact-finding. Become your own fact-checker. In the era of TikTok news, Being your own fact checker is more important than ever. Use multiple sources, look for evidence, and don't believe everything you scroll past. It's like being a detective in the vast internet universe. The takeaway: for some, TikTok is an amazing place to discover the latest trends and maybe even learn a thing or two. When it comes to the news, it's best to keep your detective hat on and look for clues that lead to the truth. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and most importantly, stay informed. Stay safe, stay secure, and remember, in the fast-paced world of social media, a little fact-checking goes a long way. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye, and thanks for watching and listening.
Thanks, Bob. We'll see what the U.S. Congress has to say this week, eh? We'll talk about it on Thursday and see how this is all going to turn out. Anyway, lots of interesting things happening with TikTok. Okay, Bill, are you ready to roll?
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to continue my series about exploring similarities and shared features. Today, we're going to talk about 6 top spotlight tips for the Mac and how to optimize those for use in the on your Mac. And then we'll do a comparison between the Mac OS Spotlight with the Windows 11 Spotlight. The Windows 11 search features. So Spotlight for the Mac OS equates to search in Windows 11. It's an integrated search technology developed by Apple, designed to help users quickly find a wide array of items on their computer and beyond. It's a versatile feature that can be accessed through a simple keyboard shortcut, the Command plus Space key, or clicking the magnifying glass icon on the menu bar. Spotlight searches across the Mac OS system allows users to find documents, emails, contacts, calendar events, media files, and more. It also enables users to perform actions such as calculations and conversions directly from the search bar, look up definitions, or even search the web and maps without opening a browser. The functionality of Spotlight extends beyond the simple file search. It can understand natural language queries, making it possible to search for items in a conversational way, such as documents I edited yesterday or emails from John last week. Spotlight indexes the contents of the Mac, offering quick and accurate search results that improve over time as it learns the user's preferences and patterns. In addition to local searches, Spotlight is integrated with various online sources, providing users with information like news, sports scores, weather forecasts, and movie showtimes directly in the search results. Apple continuously updates Spotlight with each new version of the Mac OS, enhances its search capabilities, speed, and overall usefulness, making it an essential tool for many Mac users for efficient navigation and information retrieval. For optimizing your use of Spotlight on a Mac, which is Apple's built-in search feature that helps you find documents, apps, and other items on your computer, as well as perform actions like calculations or conversions, here are 6 top tips for Spotlight. Use natural language searches. Spotlight supports natural language searches, which means you can search for things in a way that you would normally speak. For example, typing documents I edited yesterday can help you quickly find files based on your description. Number 2, utilizing Spotlight as a calculator. Instead of opening the calculator app, you can use Spotlight to perform quick calculations. Just type your equation into the search bar and the answer will appear instantly. Number 3, search the web and Wikipedia. Spotlight can search the web and Wikipedia directly from your desktop. Simply type a query and it will offer you options to search the web or Wikipedia, making it a quick way to access information without opening a browser. Preview documents and emails. When you search for documents or emails, you can preview them directly in Spotlight by pressing the Command key. This shows you a quick look at the file's contents, which you can save time if you're searching for something specific. Number 5, customize Spotlight search results. If you prefer certain types of results over others, you can customize Spotlight behavior in System Preferences. Go to the Apple menu, System Preferences, Spotlight, then select or deselect the categories to tailor the search results to your preference. Number 6, use keyboard shortcuts. Become more efficient with Spotlight by using keyboard shortcuts. Press the Command space to open Spotlight search quickly. Once you've started typing, you can use the arrow keys to navigate through the search results and press Enter to open the selected item. Now, if we compare Microsoft OS Spotlight with Windows 11 search features, we might call Spotlight as an analogy due to its similar functionality. It reveals differences in design philosophy, functionality, and integration within their respective ecosystems. In Windows 11, accessing the search feature is straightforward. Here's a few methods. For the taskbar search, you can click on the magnifying icon in the taskbar. Alternatively, use the keyboard shortcut key plus S to quickly access the search. If you use the Start menu search, you can open the Start menu and use the search box at the top of the page. As you type, the system will return results for apps, settings, files, or web queries. To narrow down your search, use filters like apps, documents, web, and more. If you use File Explorer search, in File Explorer, you want to click the search box at the top right corner. And alternatively, you can use the keyboard shortcut here, Control plus F, to focus on the search box. As you type, recent searches will appear, and you can select them for quick access. Here's a comparison based on the various aspects. With Mac OS Spotlight, it's known for its minimalist design. Mac OS Spotlight can be summoned by a simple key shortcut using the Command space key and present a search bar in the middle of the screen. It offers a clean, distraction-free interface. In Windows 11 search, it's integrated into the taskbar. The search feature in Windows 11 can be accessed with a click or by using the Windows S keyboard shortcut. It provides a more visually rich interface, potentially displaying news, weather, and other widgets upon activation. Mac OS Spotlight performs a comprehensive search across the Mac, including files, applications, documents, images, and other media, and even web searches. It supports natural language queries, making it highly intuitive. In Windows 11 search, it offers a deep search capability as well, including files, folders, applications, settings, and web results. With Windows 11, Microsoft has emphasized integration with Bing for web results and also offers widgets for quick information at a glance. For the Mac OS Spotlight, beyond searching, Spotlight can perform calculations, define words, even run simple conversions. For example, currencies measurements. Its previews feature allows users to quickly glance at documents or images without opening 11. In Windows 11, when it includes quick searches like calculations and conversions through Bing. The integration with Cortana, though less emphasized in Windows 11, offers voice-activated search and commands. The search pane can also display personalized content such as recent documents and frequently used apps. For macOS Spotlight, users can customize what Spotlight searches through system preferences, including which categories are included in searches and excluding specific folders or disks from search results. In Windows 11, it provides customization options via settings, allowing users to specify indexing locations for improved search performance. Users can also customize privacy settings related to web search integration and Cortana. So in conclusion, both Mac OS Spotlight and Windows 11 search feature aims to offer powerful integrated search functionalities within their operating systems, but they do so with different interfaces, additional features, and integration points with their respective ecosystems. Mac OS Spotlight is renowned for its simplicity and efficiency, while Windows 11 Search provides a more feature-rich and visually engaging experience with stronger web integration. The choice between them largely depends on the user's specific needs, preferences, and which operating system they are using. 6 top Spotlight tips for Mac with a comparison with Windows 11.
Excellent, Bill. Thanks so much. That's great. I'm sure there'll be some questions in the Q&A. You'll be sticking around for the Q&A?
I will be here. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, super. Thanks so much. All right, tabbed browsing, how to be more efficient using your browser. Let's have a look. Let's have a look here. 7 tips to improve your efficiency when using your Chrome browser. It's Ron Brown with Tech for Senior, where we help seniors learn technology and improve their efficiency while using a Chrome browser. Today in this video, I'll give you 7 tips to make you a pro at using your Chrome browser. Let's have a look. All right, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is what I call tabbed browsing. Now, my wife does this. My friends do this. I even have colleagues that do this. This is a big mistake, and I'm going to show you the most efficient way to use tabbed browsing. Now you're viewing my desktop. I'm in my Chrome browser. I'm actually on a website looking at a friend of mine's website. I want to go to our website at Tech for Senior. So I come up to the tabs here in our browser, and I'm open a new one, and we're going to come over, and I have this bookmarked here. So we're just going to come over, and this is going to bring up Tech for Senior's webpage. I view this and think this is cool, and then I want to go over and I want to look at Huey's site. I close this out, open a new browser, and I go to ℍ𝕖𝕚.net. It's already saved, and I bring up his website here, and I think, oh, this is cool. I have a look at this, and then of course I say, gee, I want to go to Google News. I want to look at some news articles for the Thursday show. So I'm going to cancel out this, open this next tab here. Now in this case, we're going to come over here to find Google News, which is on the right-hand side. We're going to open up Google News. Here it is. And we have, of course, we can look at all the news features that we want. Let me show you how you should be doing this. We open the first tab, and now we're going to come to our Tech for Seniors webpage. We're going to open a second tab, and we're going to come down, and we're going to get, again, we're going to go to Huey's site, and we'll go to ℍ𝕖𝕚.net, and we'll bring this up, and then we're going to open a third tab, and we're going to go to Google News, which is right here, and open this up. Now, this will bring up Google News. You'll see, of course, we have 3 tabs that are open at the top, and we can move back to the Huey site. We can move to Tech for Senior. We can go to Google News, or I can go back to my Tinkering with Tech website. So the most efficient use of your Chrome browser is to keep as many tabs open as you want. It is very common if I'm working on a project that I'll have 15 to 20 tabs open at any one time. This allows me to go back and see prior information that I might need, and I don't have to reopen another tab. It's just better efficient use. And you know, Google has made it so that it does not matter how many tabs you have open. Even a computer with limited memory and limited resources, you can have all the tabs open you want. Chrome is extremely efficient in managing the resources in these tabs, so go for it. Keep all of them open. Now I'm going to show you how to close them because it's sort of cool. Let's have a look at that. All right, now in this example, you'll see that I have a number of tabs open at the top here. I have, of course, my Gmail account open, which I usually have always on the left side of my on my browser. I always keep it open here. While I may be doing work with 15 or 20 tabs open at the right, I always keep my Gmail open on the very left side. So I've finished the project now, and I don't want these 3 tabs open. Maybe I have 15 or 20 tabs open, and I have to close them all. If you simply right-click on the first tab, you come down and you will see it says Close All Tabs to the Right. Click this, and you'll see that all those tabs to the right will close. This is how I quickly close large projects I've been working on. They may have 15 or 20 tabs open. You don't want to go and you don't want to click all those tabs and close them. So that works very well. Just to go over that again, click the right button here and close all tabs to the right. Now this example is a little bit different. You'll see I have 5 tabs open on the top. I have Tech for Senior, Huey site, my Gmail site, Google News, and Tinkering. Those are the 4 or 5 tabs I've got open. I always want to keep my Gmail open. I want to close those other tabs, but now Gmail is not on the left side. Now I could certainly just drag that over and move it, but there's a quick way of closing out these other tabs. If I right click and come down, remember close tabs to the right, well now I'm just going to close other tabs. Click, they're all gone, and I'm back over on the left side. So that's 2 ways that you can close the tabs on your browser. The next feature I want to talk about is the ability to pin your tab to the left. I'm going to show you how this works. Now, if you look at my web browser, my Chrome browser, you'll see that I have 5 tabs open. I have Facebook, Tech for Senior, Tinkering with Tech. I have our Zoom meeting open, and I have Google News. And these are all available at the top. So in this situation, I'm going to take the Tinkering with Tech website, and I'm going to right-click it. And if you come down, it says Pin. Well, what does Pin mean? Let me show you what happens here. I'm going to pin this, and you'll see that the Tinkering with Tech now comes sliding way over to the left here. So what does pinning mean? Well, pinning locks that on the left-hand side. It doesn't allow me to move it. I will always know that that site is on the left-hand side and can't be moved. The only way that you can change this is to unpin it. And you certainly can unpin this now. It comes back into a tab, and we can certainly move it, but not while it's pinned. So I use the pinning feature all the time, and I specifically use it on our Monday show when oftentimes I'm sharing a screen and showing a specific website. How many times have you watched someone doing a Zoom presentation? They say, oh, I want to show you this site. They share their screen, they go to their browser, and the tab isn't there. It was closed. Because we have a lot of screens open and a lot of things happening in a Zoom meeting, it's very easy for that tab to get moved or closed. And the presenter goes and says, here it is, I'm going to show you this, and it's not there. And then they have to fumble around and try and find it. This happens all the time. Well, when you pin something on the left-hand side, it will always be there. So you know exactly where it is, and it'll be there to share as part of your browser. So to stay professional and have a good presentation, try that pinning. It won't move. It'll always be on that left side. Even if you reboot and reload Chrome, it will always be pinned there until you unpin it. It's a great feature. In this example, we're going to talk about saving tabs to a group and saving the group. So let's look at what I have on my screen at present. I have our Tech for Senior website, and let's pretend I'm working on our Thursday show, and I want to look at some news sites to get some articles for presentation. Well, I've got three tabs open. I've got Gizmodo, I've got Wirecutter, and I've got Android Authority. These are three news services I use all the time to get articles for our show. So these three, I'd like to save them. I'd like to be able to save these three tabs and always have them available so that they open up and I can use their articles. So let's have a look how we might do that. Well, if we come back to Gizmodo, so as I open this, we're going to click to the right and we're going to come down to add tab to new group. We haven't created the group yet, but I'm going to click this, and now we can name this group, and we're going to call it news. And I'm going to actually make it red. I like it to stand out. So we're going to click this, and now you see we have a news tab. Now the other important thing to do is what we're going to do is we're going to save the group. So we're going to click this little button here, and as I click this, watch what happens. This now saves this group to our bookmark bar. It actually makes it a bookmark. So we're going to save this, and you'll see this now in our bookmark bar. Now I'm going to come over here. Let's leave this tab for a moment. I'm going to come to the second tab for Wirecutter, right-click again, and I'm going to add tab to the group. And as you see, I come down, and I'm going to add it to the news. And now we have two in the group. And then I'm going to take our third. Yes, we're going to right-click, and we're going to add this to the news group. So you could even have 15 or 20 tabs saved into this tab group. Now, watch what happens if I click on news. It collapses it down. If I click it again, it opens it up. Now, if I collapse it down, I could actually take this and I could move this now on the other side of Tech for Senior. So now we have our news group, and of course we have our Tech for Senior website. But if I wanted to open the news up again, here we have our three tabs open, and there we have Tech for Senior. Let's do this one more time. I want to move these three tabs over on the right-hand side. I just can collapse it now. I can move this over, and we're now sitting on the right-hand side. Here's Tech for Senior, and here are our three pages. Again, if I want to collapse it, it collapses the other tabs. The other thing that's interesting is you'll see that, of course, it says news here. This, of course, is bookmarked, and this is synced to all your other devices. So if you want to, this would be available on my Chromebook, my phone, and all my other devices that are synced to my Google account. This is really a neat feature, and you might want to give it a try. At Tech for Senior, I'm constantly looking for news articles for our Thursday show. I have a lot of news feeds that are constantly sending me information, and I might find some good articles I want to read, but I don't have time to look at them right now. Where do I put them, and how do I store them for future use and maybe reading later on in the day? So the Chrome browser has an excellent feature where you can add an article to a reading list. Let me show you how this works. I use it all the time. So we're back at my Chrome browser, and you'll see at the top, we have, of course, Tech for Senior, we have Huey's site, we have Google News, and we have an article from The Verge that I'm reading called Apple Will Cut Off Third-Party App Store. I want to read this article in more depth later on, so where can I put it? Well, I want to draw your attention to, let's go over to the right, let's go over to the far right, and I want you to look at this little box here. If I hover over top, it says Side Panel. What's all that about? Well, I'll show you that in a minute. You will have this. Now you can place your side panel on the left or right side of your screen. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Let's just come over here. We're going to come down to Settings. And over on the left-hand side here in Appearance, you'll see it says here in this, again, these are Google Chrome settings, side panel, show on the right or show on the left. So you have two choices. So you can have this little box on the right or the left. Let's X out of that and we'll come back up to the side panel. So let's click on side panel. Now you may not see the reading list here. You may have it set for your bookmarks. So you can see all your bookmarks down here from this list. But today we're going to look at specifically the reading list. I'll show you why that's important. We now have all the articles that I'm going to read, and these are pages I haven't read. So let's have a look at the article coming back here called The Verge. I'm going to right click, and as you'll see from the drop down menu, it says Add Tab to Reading List. So we're just going to click this, and now you'll see that it adds it over to the reading list. Apple will cut. This is the article that we have. I can tick this off, and it will then drop it down into pages that I've read for storage for later use, or you can just delete it by clicking the X button here. This is a feature I use all the time, and it's called the reading list, not to be confused with the reading mode, which is another not related to tab browsing. Now, the other thing that you might experience is that all of a sudden a tab may start playing in the background and in the autoplay. This is annoying because it suddenly came up, and if you have a lot of tabs open, it's sometimes hard to find out which one it is. I want you to show you in this, if you come up to this tab that's annoying, you simply right click it and you come down and you can mute it. And now you've muted that particular tab, but you still have not muted your sound. You can have other sound going in other tabs. It's just that tab that you've muted. Again, that's right here on the right, and you can unmute it or you can mute it. And that is a feature in the Chrome browser. 7 tips to make you more efficient at using a Chrome browser. I'm Ron Brown. This is Tech for Senior. Thank you for watching our video. Please remember that, like and subscribe. And I want to thank a good friend of mine, Michael Daniels, for letting me use his website in the demonstration today. Until we see you again, have a great day.
So I want to thank Ron for introducing me to Eleanor Collins, Canada's First Lady of Jazz. I'm embarrassed to say this is a singer I had not heard of before, but she's had a very interesting period of time during her singing career. So this following commentary today I've taken in part from CBC News, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation News. Canadian jazz legend Eleanor Collins, who began performing in the 1930s and worked with other greats like Dizzy Gillespie and fellow Canadian Oscar Peterson, died earlier this month at the age of 104. Collins was born on November 21, 1919 in Edmonton. Her parents had joined hundreds of Black homesteaders who migrated from Oklahoma and settled on the prairies. By 15, Collins won a singing contest, which led her to sing on radio station CFRN. By the late 1930s, she moved to Vancouver, where she sang on the radio with the gospel group Swing Low Quartet. Now, in 1942, she married Richard Collins, and their marriage lasted 70 years until his death, and began a family. They moved to Burnaby, British Columbia, where they were the first Black family in their neighborhood. Almost immediately, the white community started a petition to prevent them from living there. But Collins and family moved in despite the racism they faced. Collins began to volunteer at her children's school and taught music there in an effort to counter the stereotypes her family had to face. Her actions in the face of racism serve as an example of how to live a life of grace and courage, said Marcus Mosley, a Vancouver-based musician who got to know the singer in her later years. To use love and use engagement as a way of bridging adversity. I love that about her, Mosley said. Now, in the 1950s, Collins was recording songs with the Ray Norris Quintet and performing in several stage productions. In 1952, she also sang in a concert at Vancouver's Stanley Park. By the time she was becoming known as Vancouver's First Lady of Jazz, and still had a monumental career ahead of her. Collins made her television debut in 1954 on CBC's Vancouver Bambula, A Day in the West Indies, the first Canadian television show with a mixed race cast and the first live music TV show broadcast from Vancouver. She later starred in The Eleanor Show, becoming the first woman and the first Black artist to headline their own national television series. In 2014, at the age of 95, she was invested into the Order of Canada for her work. Canada Post unveiled a stamp to honor Collins in 2022. So today's clip is from the Eleanor Show debut. Since it's not available on YouTube, I've used a screen capture method to obtain this from the CBC for this morning's video presentation. In 2 weeks, I'll explain how I did this by focusing on this process. But for now, here is Eleanor Collins. The great Eleanor Collins, 104.
Yes, Ray, we're gonna have to work on the volume. It was really low.
I've raised my volume on my end.
Yeah.
What everybody can do, of course, is raise the volume on your own end.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had no problems.
Didn't you? Okay.
Nope.
All right. Thank you, Ray. That's a very impressive. I guess she really, I don't remember a lot of her at that time in my life. I was I was younger and listening to different type of music, but amazing. All right. Thanks so much. We are, of course, the top of the hour, and we will be moving on into our question and answer period. If you haven't already seen the link to the premiere or watched the premiere version, we have, of course, Bill will be talking about Windows tips. I'll be talking with Mike about our EV car experience. As I said, even though we did change our cars since that video, but it was a good interview. And Bob's going to talk about wireless sharing of your PC, all on our premiere version, which is broadcast now. I forgot it. So it's not coming on in half an hour. It's already published. We, of course, we'll be having our show on Thursday. And if you can make it, please come and listen. We'll be talking about TikTok and all the issues that Bob discussed today. And we're all going to also talk about Grok and what that means to you. So that'll be an interesting one. And all the news of the week, which of course we will be doing as well. So today, all right, now I'm going to open it up for any questions about any of this part of the show today. Just put your hand up and we will be able to. Huey, you've got your hand up, or Chris and Jim. Good morning, Chris and Jim Gould from Geeks on Tour. Yes, go ahead.
Go ahead. You want to show my face?
Yeah, I will.
I have a question about AI, probably for Huey. What is the recommended AI to read, or do I even need AI to read a poem or something like to read text in a nice voice?
There's one off the top of my head that I know of. I think it's called Speechify. There's a lot of them. If you go to, there's an AI for that. I think it's .com, and just put in text to speech. You should get a whole list of different apps.
Thank you.
There's so many I can't remember them off the top of my head.
I know. That's why I'm asking rather than sift through. I will look it up. Thank you.
Carl, go ahead.
Yeah, a question for Bob. On one of the first things you did on your presentation, you mentioned zero date. It wasn't explained in the context. It was just in the heading.
0 days we're talking about. And that's that's
Oh, I
a
guess I also want.
vulnerability that has not yet been patched. So somebody discovered a vulnerability, and then until it gets patched, if you happen to have that vulnerability and happen to fall into the category of visiting a certain site that's taking advantage of the vulnerability, you will wind up with whatever infection they have added because of that vulnerability. All of us are always susceptible to 0-day vulnerabilities because there is no protection for it until they figured out how to stop the 0-day infection.
Well, I remember when there was a big issue about, turning to the year 2000 and the dates, not having enough characters. But what is 0 days? I don't understand that.
It simply means that there has not been a way of fixing a vulnerability. It's the same as with humans. Somebody runs into a brand new disease and they're going to get sick. And then they figure out, okay, how do we cure this so that the next person doesn't get sick? And until that cure is there, you're going to get sick if you run into the disease. In this case, you're going to get infected in case you run into that vulnerability, which is being explored.
Okay, enough said. I got
Exploited.
All right, great. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, what Bob was saying about pencil numbers, I've got something to add to that. There's more than just the 1 through 6 that you were talking about. There's a 1 all the way up to 9, but that only applies for the H pencils in hardness. If it's a B pencil, it goes the opposite way. So a 9 B9 pencil is about the softest you can get. It just mush it into the paper. There's also an HB, which is essentially a 0H or a 0B combined together, which is what a usual pencil has. There's also another category, an N. So there's an H, a B, and an N. And an N doesn't have graphite in it at all. It's a plastic lead that you use for mylars and replication sheets and that sort of thing.
Steve, did you sell pencils? Like what? How do you know all this?
Because I used to draw them a lot.
Oh,
You know the CBC presentation that Ray just did?
right.
Well, there's a CBC building that's in Toronto. I was one of the designers of it.
Oh,
And this was before it was computerized, and we did all the detailing and drafting and everything else using pencils on mylars and
okay. All right.
everything. And then we switched over to a Unix multi-workstations.
Right. Okay. Very good. Well, thanks for enlightening us. Bob, have you got that? I want you to make sure you've got that now about pencils.
Well, okay, then allot me a whole hour and I'll put all of those things in. When I do a 1-sentence thing of did you know, I can't add all those details.
And you can subtitle it, "Get the lead out."
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, very good. Jim, go ahead.
Well,
I hope it's not a talk about pencils. Please tell me it's not about pencils.
No, this isn't pencils. One of the things he had at the end of it said, statistics don't lie. Well, the first thing they tell you in statistics courses is there's lies, damned lies, and statistics.
Do you know who that's quoted from?
Ooh, I did. I forgot.
Disraeli.
Yeah.
Jim Glass, go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Thank you. Question for Huey. I enjoyed the meeting yesterday, so I decided to try Copilot. And I got so many screens coming up, I didn't know what to do with them. And it kept talking about a Copilot Pro. Is that still a free version from Microsoft
Copilot,
or something else?
Copilot Pro is $20 a month.
Oh, okay.
but Copilot is free.
Correct.
What's the difference?
$20
3.5
a
or
month.
4.0. It's the knowledge that it uses in order to give you answers.
So for $20, I can be smart, huh?
For $20, you can be smarter, or it can give you wronger answers, if that's a word.
It's more up to date, right?
Yes, definitely.
When you pay for it.
Correct.
I assume there's some tutorials on YouTube on how to use Copilot. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. One other side comment. You were talking about TikTok. You may be going into it more in detail, but it's a Chinese company.
Mhm.
The only reason the U.S. let it into the country is that they sold off 51% to a Chinese national here, and China owns the other 49%.
Actually,
Yeah.
ByteDance, that's the parent company. That is the Chinese part. And that's the part that there are many discussions going on. And one of them, of course, is to outright ban it. And that in itself may not be the right answer. I have a new video that's up that goes into a little more detail about should we actually ban it, or are there other ways of curing the problem?
And we will be discussing this all on our Thursday show.
Yep.
So be sure and come and listen this Thursday, because we'll be there talking about this.
I'm going to be sure to add a tab that way so I can find it.
Yeah, right. Well, there's on our newsletter, there's the link at the top. Click that and the whole video on how to find it. Huey, you have your hand up. You've been
I do. I have an addition to your presentation, Ron. If you should shut down your either tab or tabs or groups of tabs or all of your tabs, in other words, close down your browser by mistake, if you just open your browser and do a Control-Shift letter T, Control-Shift-T, it'll bring them all back.
Oh, really? Control-Shift-T, eh?
Yes.
So here's the problem with the save tab browsing, and I forget who put a note in the chat as well. But here's the problem, and the thing that I have a problem with it is when you save those tabs and it saves them as a bookmark, that's all fine and dandy. And they will stay saved as long as you don't close those tabs. But if you close those tabs, then not only is it's not saved, in fact, it even goes off the bookmark. So if you leave the tabs open, or you minimize them, and then you can close the browser, you can turn your computer in and it'll come back and everything's fine, as long as you don't close those tabs. But if you close those tabs, it's not saved in the bookmark. And it would be nice, but I guess it'd be too many bookmarks or whatever. It would be nice if it was always there, and when you clicked on it, it would bring the tabs back, but it doesn't. They're gone. So this would be one way of, I guess, getting them back. So I think the save tab feature is probably used for a here and now, if you're working on a project and you want to sort of move them around and organize them, rather than being like a permanent thing that you're always going to go back to. I think that's probably the idea behind it. Anyway, that's Lloyd.
In your book, but before Lloyd, just a moment to keep on with that. In your bookmarks, if you save a bookmark, you can actually create a group as a drop down, so you can make that news group a bookmarked group drop down, and then you'll be okay.
No, you won't, because what'll happen is that as soon as you close that tab, all those tabs in your browser, the bookmark goes away. It all goes away. It's like it never was there.
You'd have to make a bookmark as news, and then in news add each of the ones that are there as bookmarks each.
Oh,
and
but that's not a saved tab. Yes, you could do it that way.
That's correct.
But it's not a saved tab. Yeah. Diane's waving her hand. She's got this So enlighten us, Diane. Tell us how we can solve this
I
problem.
broke it in front of Lloyd, so Lloyd was first.
Oh,
I
okay.
am-
Sorry.
Hold on, Lloyd, go ahead.
Okay.
I wanted to make a couple of comments on Copilot. In the past, I told people it couldn't draw pictures. Now it does, and it does it very effectively. Also, I wanted to mention that to the point where you could say, draw me a computer, and you get a computer, and then say, well, change the color to blue. And it does. And actually, I said also change the trim to a different color. So it's very, very powerful. That's number one. And number two, the free version, if you go to the option, which is not the default, which is more precise, it says more balanced and more precise. If you go to more precise, I am amazed at how accurate it really is. But you gotta, when you say more precise, they actually give you, I guess you call them footnotes, because in
References.
goes on now, with those footnotes, you can go and check their sources.
Right.
So very powerful, and it's great. It really is and that's the free version, by the way. That's the free version so far. Microsoft seems to be promising to charge a fee. I don't know automatically, but I'm not sure yet.
We're going to have lots more on Copilot this year. It's certainly going to be a big feature in Windows 10 and 11. I guess 11 probably. Diane, where's sorry, is that all you
No,
is that
oh, hold on a sec. It does. Yep. I'm using it in Windows 10 and it's no problem.
Windows 10?
Yep, Windows 10 Pro though. Windows 10 Pro.
Yep. Great. Okay, thanks. Diane, where's Diane go? Where did Diane go?
She's still there, right at the top.
I can't see her. Put your hand up, Diane. And
Okay, hold on.
You'll come up on my window here. So tell us our dilemma and how to solve it.
I can't not find the, wait a minute, hand raised. Okay.
There you go.
I'm right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I am pointing myself the tab queen because this is a thing that I really, really like. And based on, you don't know how people work and do different things. Right now, I have 5 categories, and I bet I've got 10 to 12 tabs open in every one of them. And you're going to say, how's your computer? Well, it's a big computer. But anyway, I do journaling. I do a newsletter. I read just like you did. And I did catch one good tip that you gave, and that's putting it in the reading folder. I never thought of that because I'm constantly fearful that I'm going to lose these. I'm still working on them. I've got one called Computer Club, and I've got all these articles in it. I've got, I've just got numerous tabs open. And like everybody else, I don't have time to read all that stuff. So I want it there. But I love this feature. And originally that Workana, I think that's how you pronounce it, and Drew knew about that. I tried to use that, and I didn't like that at all. So now I'm just afraid of every time I shut down, and I don't shut down that often, but you have to shut down every once in a while when you get a little glitch. And I'm afraid I'm going to lose everything. So I'm sitting there constantly copying my URL addresses. So Control Shift T, that's going to work. Now, is it going to put them back in my categories? I often get the tabs back, but now I've got 50, 60 tabs up here and they're not in their categories.
Right. So I mean, Huey, I think, Diane, for what you want to do and is exactly what Huey and more practically what I do is I create a bookmark and add those sites in the bookmark.
Yeah.
So
I bookmark it too, but the tabs are so much more convenient.
They are, but the problem is that when you close those tabs, they go away.
Okay, I don't close the tabs. I'm going to shut my browser down without closing. And of course, I always get the little box that says you still have things open. No, I'm not closing them.
Okay. So just as long as you don't close those tabs, as soon as you close them and X them out, then it's gone and it doesn't stay. So I think from a practical point of view, what Huey and I actually do, we actually create, bookmarks, and you can create a folder. I've shown you how to do that before. Just create a folder and just save them in the folder. And that's forever. And that's forever. They never go away then.
Once you create that folder bookmark with all your stuff in it for that particular category, then you show your bookmarks folder as part of your settings, and you can then drag that particular folder someplace where you can always see it, because there are quite a few of those bookmarks that show up if your
Yeah.
bookmarks are on the initial line of your browser.
Yeah, that's right. You could drag it up. I don't want it to
Correct.
be at the bottom. Okay. And mine are mostly permanent for a temporary amount of time, if that makes sense. You know, mine are not always temporary. I'm going to go back and pull that article. So anyway, I
Yeah.
just love them, and thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot. Oh, and the video is published now. So if you want, anyone wants to use it in teaching or go back and use it, the video's on our channel, and it's a single standalone video. So it's published already. So you can
Oh,
go back
great.
and look at it. And it'll, of course, it'll be in the show. Carl, one last word before we have to go.
I love doing these last words. You know, I read somewhere that you say 15% of your time using tabs instead of a mouse. Hell, I'd be living another 8 years if I did that.
Thanks. But please, everyone, don't open a tab, close the tab, open a tab. Don't keep going and back and doing that over and over. That is a slow way to use tabs. And I honestly, my wife does it. I've got friends that do it. I know so many people that they just open and ever use one tab. That's terrible. You know, lots of tabs. Use lots and lots and lots of tabs. All right, Huey, any final word before we go?
Nope, just been a great show.
Yeah, it's been fun. We've had a lot of good times. And so thanks everyone for coming. And of course, we'll see you on this Thursday or next week. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. All right. Anyway, have a great
Bye
day,
all.
everyone.
Thanks.
And we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.